Hello, everybody. It is Jordan Yates, and today I'm joined by Bill Sherwood from Poleline Power Systems. Poleline Power Systems and Zeus Power Supplies work very closely together, and today he's going to tell us exactly how they do. Bill, say hello to everybody.
Yes.
Oop.
Hey, Jordan, thanks for
Um,
having me. I look forward to the conversation.
Absolutely. So, Bill, can you walk us through how Zeus Power Supplies and Poleline Power Systems work together?
Yes, we've been working together since really the inception of Zeus Power Supplies, and it's been a great relationship. My part of the side, my side of it, I guess, is I'm for the last say 20 years or so. Although I've been in the business and industry about 35 years, the last roughly 20 years have been on the import outsourcing side. So my responsibilities and talents are kind of working with non-domestic manufacturers and introduce them to the market here in the United States. Zeus
Mm-hmm.
and I got together early on. We've been working together a while. It's a great partnership because we both bring talents and skills to make it work. So we actually get to work together and satisfy the customer's needs in the market.
Yeah, absolutely. And the market that we're focused on with Zeus Power Supplies is the electric power industry. So it's a broad market, but there's a lot of challenges that are pretty universal, products that are hard to get, things that are hard to find. Can you tell us about the products that Poleline Power Systems provides and that Zeus works with you all on?
Yes, yes. I'm fortunate enough to have this many years in it that we're able to supply, I mean, anything ranging from a square washer all the way up to a transformer. So we don't really have a limit to what we can source. And we found, especially in the recent years where there's been a lot of supply chain issues, that
Hmm.
wide array of products have been needed in the market. So it doesn't matter if it's a square washer or a transformer; they've been hard to get in the last couple of years. So it's been a good relationship because we're able to bring a wide variety of products under Poleline Power Systems, whether it's manufacturer names or whether it's products we take on as a private label. The partnership with Zeus has made it real easy to kind of get these products to the distributors and the customers that need them. Uh, as mentioned, the last couple of years have just been a challenge for everyone. So it doesn't matter if it's been the square washer or the transformer or anything in between. Those have been products that have been hard to come by. So it's worked well for us. It's worked well for our suppliers, and it sure seems like it's worked well for the customer base.
Yeah, I've been in this industry for a while and I luckily have never been the person sourcing, but I've heard a lot of horror stories about people having an incredibly difficult time getting equipment, getting, even just hardware. What is the hardest thing that you've seen customers trying to find that Zeus has been able to help you guys source?
Yeah, I think that's a good question because that's one of the concerns a U.S. customer has is, what are we doing as a due diligence to review these factories? So it's not a breeze. It's not something easy. But at the same point, even in the United States, whether it was back in the 80s or 90s or even today, there are certain factories that utility customers knew to go to for certain products and maybe what not to go to for certain products. The same thing happens across the world. So if you're sourcing your products wherever in the world, there's a lot to choose from. There's a lot of factories out there. So the important value that Zeus's sourcing department brings, and then some of the contacts I have bring, is we bring a lot of auditing of those factories. They've been tested and proven to be good quality products. Most of the time, the products have already been here in the United States for many years under larger company names or just under other company names. So we vet them very well. That's the thing you get from a Zeus sourcing and offering base, is that they're very vetted and very audited due to the final detail. So it's something that we can stand behind.
Yeah, that's actually interesting you say that because I remember my first day spending time with Shafiq, who works at Zeus, and we were driving to see you all up in the Northeast, and he was on a phone call with one of the suppliers, and I remember him going through like all the quality checklist and like getting all these specs, and I'm like, wow, I thought you guys were just finding the parts. I didn't actually realize that Zeus was so like thorough in determining quality and like specifications as well. So I was actually pretty impressed by that because I thought what they were talented at was just finding a part that exists, but the fact that they do the quality side as well it makes me feel good, especially knowing that these are, potentially really large high voltage transformers. Like you want that to work well and meet the specifications, or else it could be a liability issue. So it's cool that you mentioned that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's right on point. I mean, here again. It doesn't matter if it's a Poleline hardware product or if it's a high tech device like a transformer or anything in between. These are products that the customer they have their guidelines, they have the specifications, and they know what they need. What these products need to meet. So with the skills that Zeus has and the talent they have on board there, they know what to look for in the market. So whenever we're sourcing, whether it's my products or products that are sourcing outside of Poline, it's very well reviewed. It's something that, and therefore brings a lot of comfort to the U.S. Utility base.
Absolutely. And something that with Zeus being a newer company, they've been around a couple years now. I feel like their value statement of, we are supply chain specialists, like we will source you what you need. And the lead times that they can get for some of these products are like so much faster than the rest of the market. But I feel like some customers may worry, sounds too good to be true. When you first started working with Zeus, did you ever have that same feeling? And like, how did they prove you wrong if that was the case?
Yeah, yeah, that's there's a lot of truth to that, and I too felt that way. Being from the industry so long and seeing this new entity that I knew a little bit about the history of, but they proved themselves pretty quickly to me, and I think they have to a lot of their customers because of the quick service they've been able to give on things, even as stressed as transformers were. So we were seeing transformers 1.5, 2, 3 years out, and when Zeus comes on board, they solved a lot of problems for a lot of utilities and brought them transformers within months, and still do that today. So it's a big thing when you look at the value of Zeus. It's not just the sourcing, the auditing, and then the approval, getting approval with utilities, but it's a way to get it to the utilities. So it's also a logistical value that they add, because many times from where I come from, I can find the product. It can be a great product. I can get it approved, and the utility wants to use it, but I have no way to get it to that utility. So, as a supplier, that's where Zeus really steps up another notch and gives you that outlet of how to sell it, how to finally make that sale after you did all your work of approval.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a nice partner to have in your corner. I'm
Definitely.
curious about you personally, Bill. What is your favorite product that is difficult to source that you always have a fun time, like when you finally get it or you get a short lead time? Like, which one is your favorite?
Well, I have to admit the Transformers, because of the recent issues we've had over the last couple of years, that's been a feat, and it's been a success story. So for someone like myself, I've sourced a lot of the materials, hardware, insulators, cutouts, rusters, all the things we all love to talk about and promote and sell. But I
Mhm.
think the Transformers was the biggest success, and it was due to Zeus's input and the staff there of having the connection to get it into that market, even to the point where they got customers interested to go to the factories to review the factories. So they
Wow.
had that type connection in the market. That was really the final straw that made this happen.
That's so cool. Yeah. It's interesting too when we get in these positions. Like I'm down in Houston, Texas, and a couple weeks ago we had like the most insane tornadoes and it took out power for like half the city. It destroyed a bunch of buildings. And my first thought was, oh, thank God I know somebody who works at like, can find transformers if the utilities companies can't get them because I'll be damned if I'm without power. And so it's cool because I feel comforted by knowing that somebody is out there doing the work to make sure we can find products we need when things happen that are unplanned. So I immediately called Shafiq. I was like, Shafiq, you live here too. You saw that this happened. Like, if something goes wrong, like, tell me you guys can, help the utilities companies out. And he's like, that's literally what we're here for. So I'm like, okay, cool. I feel better. Let me go back about my day, just, living in
Yeah.
bliss of having electricity.
Yeah, and that's a big value I think that Zeus brings to the table. We can talk about sourcing, we can talk about supply chain issues, but then you bring on the storm scenarios, where you've got hurricanes, tornadoes, ice storms. That's going to be another comfort level that an entity like Zeus brings to the market, because they'll have stock sitting there ready to go. That's going to be
Hmm.
important to those distributors and those utilities throughout the country. So, and they say we're going to have an active hurricane season again. So who knows? You can't ever be ready enough.
I picked a great time to move to Houston, so at least Zeus will be around in case something horrible happens. But
There
Bill,
you go.
I'm curious. You guys at Poleline Power, or I guess I'll just call you PPS for short, your acronym. What
That's good.
sets your team apart in the industry, and what makes your company so great? Because we want to know that, because if Zeus partners with you, there must be something quite great about you.
Yeah, well, the staff here with PPS, we come from the distributor side of the business. So especially the first 15 years of my work in the utility industry was a distributor. So I kind of knew what a distributor needs. Therefore, I knew what the utility need from that distributor. We were able to bring that to PPS and also to Zeus to kind of get an understanding of stock is very important, quality is very important, competitive price is very important. So we kind of checked all the boxes of kind of how to make this work and how to bring value to everyone. So that's probably the biggest plus we have is just the years of experience and also kind of being on both sides of the table. So although I'm a supplier recently, in my early days, I was the customer, I was the distributor. So when you can do that, you really keep yourself sitting on both sides of the table.
I think that's actually great because I feel like I worked for a distributor for a year, and I feel like they feel the stress from both sides of the situation the most, to where if you can empathize with that and understand where they're coming from, that makes your company so valuable. So that's actually a really neat point. I'm glad you made that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really cool to know. My last question is, what is a success story that you could share where you and Zeus collaborated together? Maybe you found a product that was hard to find, you helped somebody solve a problem. Where's a time you guys really collaborated?
Okay, that's there's been a few, but and I hate to kind of be redundant here, but I'm gonna
No, I
throw the
love it.
transform. Yeah, I'm gonna throw the transformer flag up again. I think that was a big success for us. It started in 2022, uh, and really and it happened pretty quick, and it was due to the supply chain issues. So the fact we were able to come together and work on transformers together, it was it was it was a great success story for a number of utilities throughout the country. It made us feel good. It gave us a good track record. I think it gave Zeus a good way to really kick off into the market. And that's the thing. If
Mhm.
you can be successful with something as high tech as transformers, people are going to be extremely comfortable with you with insulators, hardware, and all the other items that frame the pole and come along in the industry. So that's probably why it's a big success is that it's a high tech item, it's a high volume item, it's what the utilities consider a major item in their purchasing arena. So to have that happen so quickly, and we knew it was contributed to the supply chain, but we also knew from the utilities that Zeus brought down to the factories that it was the factory as well. The factory proved that they could do what they needed to do for the U.S. utility. So that's probably, I still have to say, we have to ring the transformer bell on the success story.
No, that's fun. I love marketing transformers because obviously they're cool and they're big and they're powerful and they're great. But Peter at Zeus always gives me a hard time because I try to tell him bolts are fun to talk about and hardware is fun to talk about. And he's like, Jordan, there's no way you can make bolts interesting. And so I'll always try to get people to talk about, oh, isn't pole line hardware so cool? And he's like, it just is what it is. People need it. We get it. It's simple. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, fine, Peter, but I still think it's fun.
Well, that's good, and we hope there's a lot out there that do because that's a big part of the Zeus package as well. So it's and everything's important to us. One thing we I talk about and Zeus talks about in the meetings with customers is that we're just as interested in promoting all the products. It's not just transformers. I mean, we are all about the formed wire, the connectors, the hardware. So it's we want this package to work as a complete package and service the market well. So that's our goal.
Absolutely. Well, Bill, thank you so much for coming on and telling us about your relationship with Zeus. It was great to hear it from somebody who's worked so closely with them and giving us your valuable insight. If somebody wants to reach out to you and learn more about PPS and what you guys do, what's the best way to go about that?
They can reach me by probably email is the best, and we have a website PolelinePowerSystems.com. You can reach me at bill@PolelinePowerSystems.com. That's probably the best way, and we'll get you some answers right away.
Sounds great. And guys, I'll put all that information in the description below. But thank you so much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time.